Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is Megan Fox. I am a young Mennonite mom from Lancaster County, and today I would like to talk to you about being a stay-at-home mom. This video is intended to push you over the edge if you have been considering being a stay-at-home mom, and my intention is not to make you feel guilty if this is not a possibility for you or something that you even want, but it's just my journey and the things that have helped me in my transition from being out in the workforce to becoming a stay-at-home mom. So if you'd like to chat about that with me, keep watching and let's get into the video. If you don't recognize this backdrop, you need to watch a past video I made about keeping the spark in your marriage and things that you can do for your husband, because you'll get a full house tour of this beautiful property that I'm at right now. Also, can we take a moment to look at this awesome shirt? It's like this lavender color with these awesome sleeves. I got it at Old Navy right around Black Friday, and it is so cozy and comfortable and not too hot, and it's not even maternity, and it fits great even though I am pregnant. Anyway, enough about those bunny trails. Let's get into the video. So I've been a stay-at-home mom for going on 2 years, and my husband would argue that I'm not a stay-at-home mom and that I'm always on the go, but I still classify myself as a stay-at-home mom as I don't have a regular full-time job anywhere else besides in the home. But just a little bit of a backstory. I was a teacher for 6 years before I made the leap to staying at home. And honestly, I thought that my job as a teacher was just so much more important. And staying at home to raise kids just seemed like a waste to me. Good grief, that sounds terrible. But hey, that's how I felt. I felt like it was not worth my time. So even when I made that decision to stay at home, I was not excited about it. But honestly, it is the best job I've ever had. I don't have to miss milestones in my children's lives. I can be my own boss. I can make my own schedule. I can choose to put lots of energy into the things that I enjoy about my job, and I've found time to pursue so many of the passions and dreams that I've wanted to do and just never had the time for. And you know what? Being a stay-at-home mom, like any job, is a job. And there'll be parts you love and parts you don't love as much, but you get through them and you keep going and you find your little space and corner in the world. So here are the top tips that I learned through trial and error to make your transition into being a stay-at-home mom a little more smooth if that's something that you're thinking about doing. First of all, recognize how fortunate you are. There are so many people out there that would love to be a stay-at-home mom and to raise children from home, and it's just not always a financial possibility. So recognize that if that is an option for you, that is just a blessing in itself. Also, even before you quit your job and decide to stay at home, make sure that you're not living off of your paycheck. For us, we would just put my paycheck away and save it for another day. We didn't use that to pay the bills and buy the groceries and things like that. So make sure you're not relying on your income to survive and to live. And this might take some prioritizing, and you might have to take some things out of your life. Your lifestyle might have to change a little bit, but I promise you it will be worth it. Also, don't go cold turkey if you can help it. I taught school full-time for 5 years, and then the 6th year I taught 4 days a week, and then after that I quit completely and had my daughter. And I find that it's actually a really good time to transition when you're pregnant, if you can possibly cut back to 4 days a week. It's not always possible, I understand, but just think of that as a possibility and maybe weaning yourself off a little bit so that you're still getting out, but you're not completely working full-time or anything like that. Also, another thing that has helped me personally, you can take this or leave it, I don't know how this is going to apply to your life necessarily, but I found an opportunity that I can teach every other week in a homeschool co-op, and that is just really nice for me to get out of the house. Maybe you could find a cleaning job that you could do, or even just take the job you have now and cut back to maybe 1 day a week if that's a possibility. Of course, you have to check into the babysitting and all those things and make sure that that's all good, but that's just another possibility that maybe you want to take and run with. Also, another tip, I feel like it's important to identify what kind of personality type you are, but acknowledge that that could change. So are you an introvert or an extrovert? Do you think that you will enjoy being a stay-at-home mom? If you're an extrovert, it doesn't seem so appealing to be stuck inside 4 walls all day with a toddler or a baby. It just doesn't sound that appealing. If you're an introvert, maybe that sounds awesome to you, but recognize that no matter what you are, it could possibly change as you transition into the life of a stay-at-home mom. I thought I was such an extrovert and I could not do anything by myself. I would not go out to eat by myself. I could hardly even go shopping by myself. I just felt like a loner and like I had no friends. And it's so interesting, now that I'm a stay-at-home mom, I enjoy just me and my daughter going out to pick some stuff up. In fact, I can get a lot more shopping done that way, although I still enjoy doing it with friends. Also, I now have no problem with taking my daughter, just me and her, to Chick-fil-A and letting her play in the little playground in there and just enjoying a little mommy-daughter date once in a great while. And so that's something that has definitely changed my personality a little bit. I've learned to appreciate the quiet and not always being around people. I also still definitely thrive on busyness. I love to be busy, and if I don't have enough stuff to do, I will create things to do. But I think that being a stay-at-home mom has helped me to become a little more even-keeled, and I've learned that I don't always have to be rushing from one place to the next to feel fulfilled. My next stay-at-home tip is super practical, and that is, if you are now a stay-at-home mom, treat it like an actual job. Make a schedule for yourself, and maybe the schedule changes from day to day, but get up, get dressed every day, and have a list of things you want to get done. If you'd like some more ideas on this topic and how to schedule your days, go ahead and check out my video I made previously at the beginning of this year about how I plan my life. I'll put a link up here in the cards, and you can also check it out on my channel. If you want to feel fulfilled as a stay-at-home mom, I think it helps if you treat it as a professional job and you expect a lot from yourself, but know your limits as well. And if you're like me and you had that naughty little thought of, it's just kind of a waste of my talents to stay at home and raise children, get that out of your head right now, because I promise you it is not a waste. And I couldn't have believed that until I saw it for myself, but I believe all moms have different skills and aptitudes, and you need to learn what yours are. And everyone can use their talents to be an awesome mom in a certain way. Not everybody has the same skills, but let's say you're really creative and you love to do crafts and stuff. Well, your kids are gonna love that. You can definitely do like sensory activities and little crafts and art projects with them. They'll love that. Or maybe you really like to be active and you'll just be the awesome mom that's always out there at the park pushing your kids on the swings. Or for myself, just a little something that I've been doing lately is I just have that teacher in me yet that still wants to teach, and I only have a 1-year-old. There's so many opportunities as a mom to teach your children. Something that I've been doing lately is called blanket time, and I'm trying to get my daughter to learn to stay on a blanket for a short specified period of time so that when the new baby comes and I need to be feeding it or whatever else, I can just whip out a blanket and my daughter can stay put and stay still and quiet playing on her blanket. And so that's something that I've been fun doing lately. And that's just using my teaching skills. So identify what talents you wish that you could use and look for ways to use them as a mom. Also, make sure you make mommy friends. This tip has been pretty easy for me because a lot of my friends also have children, and so I'm very blessed in that area. But if you live in an area where you don't have a lot of your friends your own age, or they don't even have to be your own age, but maybe in the same stage of life, it's totally fine if your friends don't have children, but you need at least a couple that do so that you don't feel as lonely and you can realize that the little things you're going through are just normal and everybody goes through them. And so if you don't have any mom friends, get out there, join a mom's group. I joined something kind of like a MOPS group a little bit ago, and I've really grown to love it a lot. If you don't have anything like that in your area, maybe go to the park, take your dog and your children on a walk, and I found that children and puppies are a huge icebreaker, and don't be afraid to reach out because I'm sure there are a lot of other lonely moms in the area that would love to make a friend. Also, if you have mom friends that are just in other areas or you can't get out, depending on what season of life you have, don't be afraid to make a phone call. Or lately, me and my friends have been really enjoying the WhatsApp. It's kind of like you can text, but you can talk. I did not like it at first at all, but now that I've kind of gotten into the rhythm with it, it's really nice. You can just like use voicemail, and it goes back and forth, and people can just listen to it when they have the time. And that's just really handy, and also a great way to communicate and just to chat with a friend. Also, I know social media never takes the place of a real person, but just finding other people here on YouTube or Instagram, other stay-at-home moms, has definitely helped me and inspired me and pushed me to be a better mom and not being stuck in like a mediocre rut, if that makes sense. Also, look for free activities in your area. With cutting down to one income, you're gonna feel like you don't wanna spend a lot of money, and that's definitely probably a good idea. You don't want to spend a ton of money, but there's so many free things you can do associated with your library or just your community area, community days, things like that. Fire stations often put on free stuff for kids. So often where I like to find those is on Facebook. I found a Facebook page that is cheap and free things in Lancaster, I forget, or something like that. I'm sure you can Google on Facebook and find a similar page that lists the things happening in your area, and a lot of them are free or pretty cheap. And I know winter can sometimes be slow for those types of events, but spring is coming and there'll be lots more outdoor things you can do. Also, don't be afraid to use babysitting if you have it. Now, I say that carefully because I obviously believe there's such a thing as too much babysitting, but I am so blessed with an awesome mom-in-law and mom who are willing to babysit once in a while. And I do teach at a homeschool co-op every other week, so my daughter gets to see the one grandma then. And then on the other weeks, I usually try to do something by myself that my daughter can stay at my mom and enjoy some time with that grandma as well on the farm. And she loves it. I love getting away. My moms love it too. And you know what? Your children need to get out just as much as you do. Do not feel guilty for taking a little bit of time for yourself once in a while. And I know this is gonna get harder the more children I have, but I'm so blessed to have moms in my area. My heart goes out to you if you do not have your mom or family around. I know that's hard, but look for another mom that you can trade back and forth with, maybe come up with a system every other week. I know there's gyms that have daycare if you can trust that. Yeah, you have to just be discerning and think through that a little bit, but don't be afraid to use babysitting if you have it once in a while, because you will be so much of a better mom when you come back from that little break. Also, don't try to do it alone. Let your husband get involved too. When he comes home from work, let him have some time with the kids. Give yourself a little break, stand at the sink and wash those dishes, and let all the craziness happen around you, and let your husband take control in his way. I know it's sometimes tempting to think that, oh, you have to rush in and that's not the right way to do it. But something I found, maybe this is because I'm just not naturally like a nurturing, super nurturing person, but my husband actually has some ideas that are better than mine when it comes to, you know, the mundane things of childcare, like changing diapers and feeding supper and things like that. Just because it's different doesn't mean it's wrong. And I just encourage you to let him be a dad in his own way, because you can't do it alone, number one. And number two, if you keep stepping in and telling him he's doing it wrong or this is the way to do it, he's just gonna get frustrated and not even wanna help out at all. And I know every husband is different, but my husband is wonderful with helping out, and he is sometimes, I think, the better parent of us too. So if you're blessed to be in a marriage relationship where you can have the help of a spouse, take it. It will make your life so much easier. And my final tip is on those unglamorous, absolutely difficult, hard to deal with days where you're just ready to pull your hair out, or on those awful days where you just want to climb into bed and pull the sheets up over your head. Remember this. I like to think of myself as a highly skilled, highly paid nanny. And that might sound ridiculous, living in a little la-la land imaginary world, but think about this. Your husband, when he married you, he picked you to be the mother of his children, and I just like to think that, you know what, my husband's off working, he needs to provide for us, and he can't stay at home with them, and so he had to go out and pick someone to care for his children every day, someone he could entrust his children with, and that person that he picked was me. Now, granted, he picked me before we even had any children, but it's just a different way of looking at it, and it makes you feel just a little bit more valuable and appreciated. And so I like to think about that when I'm just having a really rough day, because those days will come, and they're more often sometimes than others, but definitely with God's help and with the help of those around you, you can get through it, and it's just the most rewarding job out there in the end. I promise you it's worth it. So I hope you found these tips helpful or thought-provoking. I'm still learning, I'm young yet. I would love to hear what you think. Put your comments down below, and I'd like to continue this discussion. Are you a stay-at-home mom? Do you want to be a stay-at-home mom? Why not? What things helped you transition to that spot in life? And if you aren't a stay-at-home mom but you want to, what is holding you back? I would love to know. And my heart goes out to all of you that wish you could be a stay-at-home mom but can't for financial reasons, or you're just struggling with infertility or something like that. My heart just goes out to you, and I would just pray that something will change and God will bless you more abundantly than you can even imagine. And so just to wrap up this video, I wanted to end with just an encouragement, no matter where you are in life, working, stay at home, mom, single, whatever you are, just to bloom where you're planted and shine your light in the corner of the world where you're at the moment. Do your best and leave the rest to God. Thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't yet already. That really helps me out a lot. I see that a lot of you that are watching are not subscribed. So I don't know what you're waiting on, but hit the subscribe button and the little bell so you know when another video is coming up and you won't miss it. And I will see you in my next video.